Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Looking for Love in All the Wrong Dust Jackets, a show where three disgruntled harpies talk to you about everything we love in romance, whether that's books, movies, TV shows, whatever we like. My name's Liz.
I'm Danny.
And I'm Wiggles.
And welcome to the episode. Today, we are discussing 10 Things I Hate About You. Yeah, that movie that's like 20-some years old. That.
25th anniversary. It came out in 2000. Came out in 2000.
The 25th anniversary came out in 2000?
No, it's the 25th anniversary.
It came out in 2000.
There's a comma.
I was like, what you are saying is illogical.
Punctuation is important.
It's 50 years old, Liz. What part of that's hard to understand?
Anyway. But before we get into the movie, I have to warn you, I have to let the people know that we are crass and unhinged. We're terribly unladylike. And we're going to talk about all of them naughty times using all them 4-letter words.
Woot, woot.
Notably, woot woot. WOOT.
Wiggs, what kind of fun facts do you have about this here movie?
I have so many. I'm going to try to rein myself in. A few pretty obvious, I think, notable ones is that this launched the careers of a lot of people. Obviously, people like Joseph Gordon-Levitt were already on the scene, but Heath Ledger, this was his first American film. For Julia Stiles, this was one of her first like major budget films. So that's something to keep in mind. Heath Ledger actually beat out Josh Hartnett and Ashton Kutcher for the role of Patrick. Also, most of the scenes that were filmed on actual locations. So the school is actually located in Tacoma, Washington, and is real. I'm not going to list the school because, I mean, I guess if you want to go find it, but that feels weird. The table dancing scene in the movie is what led to Julia Stiles booking the role, her leading role in Save the Last Dance. How you feel about that and how it's aged? That's for you to process. The original script was apparently much darker than the original one, than the finished one, because Mandela kept referring to openly and frequently attempting to end her presence on this planet to go be with William Shakespeare.
My goodness.
Oh my.
Yeah. So glad they changed that up.
Yeah.
The screenwriters, Karen McCullough and Kristen Smith, this was their first screenplay, but they would go on to write screenplays that we all know and love, Legally Blonde and House Bunny.
Oh.
Yeah. Also, if you're not that familiar with Shakespeare, there is a lot of references to the script that this is based on, which is The Taming of the Shrew, both in plot and also in character names. Kat is short for Katerina, Bianca is just Bianca, and Patrick is short for the last name of the main character, Petruchio. So there's lots of those little nuggets dropped in there. This one I thought was really interesting. The student that Patrick pays off in the hallway before the like big marching band sequence where he's singing, the actual singing voice is the student he pays off.
Oh.
Right? I would never have guessed. I thought he just actually sang that. Also, the title of the movie came from a journal entry of one of our writers. And then the last one that's like fun and not obvious is in the party scene where Michael's line, "Lord of the Dance." It was actually said by one of the extras during rehearsal. When picture was up, the actor said it during the first take, which was well received by the director and kept in the final film. So that's where that came from. But there's a whole bunch of other like fun facts you can get into. I wouldn't worry about really any of them because I'm not going to tell you any of them. So that's too bad, so sad. Look them up if you want to know. Danny.
I have a fun fact.
Danny's got a fun fact.
It's just one that I randomly knew. Julia Stiles had never been drunk
and
didn't know how to act. And so her father got her drunk on purpose so that she'd know how to act.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, oh, she got to make bad decisions in safe places.
Which is always good.
It's always good.
Speaking of always good, Danny.
All right.
Tell me about this movie.
So basically it starts with a new student. He is all of a sudden suddenly and ferociously in love with this girl, Bianca. And he finds out she doesn't date because she's not allowed to. And she is fighting with her dad and everything. And he finally makes a new rule that fine, she can date, but her sister also has to be dating. And her sister is, as they say many times in this movie, a heinous bitch. And so this sweet, sweet man decides that he wants to make a deal with this other guy who wants to date Bianca, that they have to find somebody to date her sister. And so they choose Patrick, they believe is a super hardened criminal. You find out later he's really not. And that he's the only one who can date her, so they pay him to.
Yeah. And I also wanted to let the people at home know, if you're wondering, where can I watch this? Oh my God, I haven't watched it in forever. I need to rewatch it after this episode. You can get it on Disney Plus, Prime Video. You have to rent it. And those are the places now. Somehow this has become a Disney Plus movie.
I was also very confused by that. I was like, oh, it's on Disney Plus? What?
Yeah, weird, right?
I went to Max at first.
Yeah, so check that out when you're ready. And in the meantime, let's talk about this movie and how it was a formative experience for every teenage girl who was alive at that time.
It really was. One, you got to stare at Heath Ledger.
I mean, come on.
So pretty. The only time he's prettier is in A Knight's Tale.
I liked dark-haired Heath Ledger. I won't lie. And rewatching this movie last night, I was like, oh my God, I'm suddenly 14 again going, just screaming like I'm seeing Elvis for the first time. Like, whoa.
I maybe like The Knight's Tale more just because that's kind of more of my thing. But it's Heath Ledger either way. He's so pretty.
Yes. Great success on the genetics on that one.
Also, Ashton Kutcher was up for this role. He could not have pulled this off.
This was during his popular time.
Well, yeah, and here's the thing. I don't dislike Ashton Kutcher at all. From what I've seen, he's a lovely person, that kind of thing. I just don't, he can't really pull the edgy situation, I don't think, very well.
No. Well, one of the other fun facts that I skipped over was that Heath Ledger, you know that part where they're like describing him as a criminal and in the background he's doing weird shit?
Yeah.
And he starts playing with the flame. He just improvised that. And I was like... And I was mentioning to my sister last night when we were watching it, I was like, that's like the only scene where he's believable to me as a teenage boy. Everything else, I'm like, what's this college student doing in these high school classes? But everything that he was doing, like stabbing his frog and like just fucking with shit, and his friend being like, stop, why are you like this? Very teenage boy.
that moment when he uses the Bunsen burner to light his cigarette, and then his friend just takes it from him and puts it out instantly. I was like, I don't know why, but that makes me laugh out loud every single time.
I love the juxtaposition of his friend with the like spiked mohawk hair and the like uber punk look. And he's the one who's constantly just like taking Patrick's stuff away and being like, stop it. Just stop.
Just no. Does he put the cigarette out in the frog?
He does.
Yeah.
He does in fact do that.
Yeah, he's not like top tier, he's not like getting everything right.
Well, I mean, at least the frog was not alive. He wasn't torturing it by any
that
means.
would be an entirely different thing. Yes.
I also like that later on when they're in shop class, the spiked mohawk guy is just like, he's focused. He's got his squares. He's figuring out like what his next cut is. Patrick's fucking lighting a random metal rod on fire for seemingly no reason.
Yeah.
It's giving the same energy as in Superbad at the beginning of the movie when he's like, I'm just drilling holes. Last 2 weeks. Fuck it. Like, what are you doing? That can't possibly have a purpose. But yeah, I don't give a shit. He was definitely a young Wiggles crush that she held on to forever.
Well, I think that was like all of us back then.
Yeah.
I still hold that crush.
Right?
It's not like, there's a whole bunch of books and stories about a guy who's really rough and on the exterior, but inside is just a gooey little marshmallow. It's not like we all got that.
Yeah. Not like I've read several motorcycle club books recently about that.
Yeah.
I also am a big fan of like somebody who looks all rough and tumble but is a big nerd. That's like, yeah, we love that. We love to see it. But on that note of speaking of nerds, what I have always thought is interesting is that Michael, right, the AV guy that greets Cameron at the beginning, is often like posed as this like dork, and like he fucking is. And if I saw a guy come to a party in a 3-piece suit, I'd be like, get the fuck out of my face. But like all the stuff that he does for Mandela would have worked on me.
Oh yeah,
would have worked on me.
And I love that Patrick's just like, yeah, that's my guy. Like,
that's my boy.
He just like kind of begrudgingly is like, yeah, we're cool. He like winks at him on stage at the dance and everything.
Also, he's got some of the best fucking lines.
Oh God. All I can think of while watching him though, Michael, is that it's it's Bernard.
Okay. So I was telling my sister about this literally last night, and she didn't fucking believe me. I was like, there's a whole subsect of millennial women who have a crush on him, not in this role or in any other role, like Numbers or something. No. The crush they have on him is on as Bernard in the fucking Santa Claus movies.
Correct. I am one of them.
And the thing is, the interesting thing about it, right, is going on this little tangent that you're leading us down.
Happily.
It's not like there weren't other options that were more like classically attractive or whatever. It's just we literally like to gravitate towards the grumpies and the nerds and the outcasts.
Yes. It's just in the Santa Claus, he was the sarcastic smart one. Like, there was something about him.
Yep. She think that Gen Z bitch thinks I'm making it up, and I'm like, no, ma'am, this is real.
Well, we will tell her when she arrives because we know she will soon.
But yeah, and so for Cameron, our baby Gordon Levitt, to be the romantic lead, kind of, he doesn't hit as well because like the shit he pulls, instantly not going out with that boy.
He's very vanilla.
Yeah.
But also the whole rigmarole of going through all of this to get with a girl you just met is giving nice guy energy.
Yeah.
Very.
And not here for that.
Mm-mm. I also will say this, and maybe I should apologize to the people who were around me as a teenager, but I made Kat Stratford my fucking personality. I'm not proud of it. I just know that's who I was.
There was a whole group of girls and millennial girls that really gravitated towards these like basically bitchy but like strong feminist characters.
Yeah.
I unfortunately was not one of them. Now I wish I had been, but I was not. I was much more of a Bianca.
Well, and I think it's an interesting thing of like, is it the zeitgeist of having these characters because that's who our generation was, or was our generation that way because these characters were created and we copied them? I think it's the second one.
I think it's a mix, because here's the thing, like, yes, we had a Kat Stratford, but we also had Daria. We also had like even our softer version of that in like Freaky Friday, like or even going as far back as fucking The Parent Trap. Everybody wanted to be the like angsty twin, not the fucking British one. I'm just saying, like, there's a give and take there.
I love that you call her the angsty twin when she was like the California girl that grew up on a vineyard with horses.
She was still the angsty twin.
I'm aware.
That's like an unavoidable fact. There's one who is like running the fucking town with her sock full of change, and then there's one who's like posh daddy, grandpa guy taught her how to play poker. No, there's an angsty twin and there's a not angsty twin.
See, and you know what's sad is that most of our generation, when they think The Parent Trap, they think the Haley Mills not Haley Mills version, the
Lindsay Lohan. I knew
Lindsay
you were
Lohan
at, yeah.
version. But I was that weird kid that loved watching really old movies, so my first introduction to The Parent Trap was the original.
I had seen that first. I just didn't like it as much.
Oh, see, and I love it. But I also was obsessed with Haley Mills for a period of time that might include right now.
Thomasina, man.
I mean, some Pollyanna.
Yeah. Anyway, back to this movie. Hey, let's start from the beginning. because Cameron shows up and is given the like classic teen movie introduction to the world. I'm going to walk you right on through all these like weird little subsects in my school. And already, like, I knew I was gonna fucking love this movie as a teen. I was like, as he's like going through and he's like, these are the coffee people, and he's like, that's Costa Rican butthead, and I was like, I'm in. The fucking rodeo guy trying to rope a fucking trash can.
Yep.
At one point, that group is just eating, one of them is just eating a can of pork and beans, like just in the background, spoon in can.
The more I watch this movie, the more little things I
Yes.
find in the background that I fucking love. And I'm like, the amount of detail you were putting in scenes no one was going to fucking see. I appreciate it. There's another scene where one of the Rastafarian white guys is at the dance table that I'd never noticed before, and he's like right there, but you have to like he only really is visible in the like above her head's angle of it. And so him like making that joke of I like the way your hips move or whatever in the morning makes way more sense. I'm like, oh, he was really literally right there. Saw that for the first time.
There was a lot of attention to detail in this movie that you don't realize until you like really watch it.
Well, again, going back to my fun facts, apparently the director was like, no fucking way. I don't want to do a teen movie. And then they were like, no, but you've got to do this. And he was like, well, then I'm going to do it right. And yeah, you did. Also, very early on in Cameron showing up is we get Miss Perky. It's one of my favorite characters ever.
What an amazing character, and what a classic just like teen movie thing to do, of like introducing all of your characters through going to the principal's office. But one of my favorite things about Miss Perky is the very first scene where she's typing the first sentence of her smutty novel draft. And the next time, I think it's when Kat comes in, so some time has passed, she's now has 2 sentences in her smutty novel. We go from 1 to 2.
Yeah. She's been working really hard on them. Also, they're fantastic sentences. Like,
Yes.
I can't remember what the character's name is, but she removes her crimson cape while staring at Reginald's. Judith, what's another word for engorged? Like, oh God.
I love the fact that she's not hiding it at all.
No, everyone just fucking knows. And I
Well,
love
she
that.
tells them, she's like, I need to get back to my novel.
Yes. And I love that her students are contributing to it.
Yeah, bratwurst.
Yeah. Aren't we the optimist? He's just confused. He's like, what? Or tumescent.
Quivering member.
Oh, I like that.
Yes.
I need to see that in my next romance novel. Please and thank you. Quivering member. Let's bring it back. But also, I just love that she is like, if Umbridge didn't give a flying fuck about anybody and just wanted to write a goddamn romance novel. And I'm like, who is this person? I want a spinoff that's just her goddamn movie.
It would be hilarious. And it could just be a rotating cast of like random students that come in and interact with her for under 5 minutes.
Yes.
Yeah, and then
And that would
how
be-
she adds it into the novel.
Yes.
Yes. Yes. It is the makings of a perfect SNL sketch that's like reoccurring.
Yes.
Oh my God.
Also, I love that actress. Allison Janney.
Allison Janney. Yeah.
Yeah.
She has been criminally underrated
Yes.
her
Yes.
whole career. Go ahead.
I was gonna say her comedic timing and just like her comedic delivery is so good.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
God,
yeah.
her part in the Help when she confronts her about the pie.
Mhm.
She's like, oh, you're really sweaty. What? No man wants to see you like that. You know, you really need to take care of yourself. Maybe you've been eating too much pie. And I'm like, ooh.
See, my personal favorite is her in Drop Dead Gorgeous. When she's like,
Oh God.
is she your mom? No, she's just yelling, Mom, Mom, because she has Tourette's. I fucking love her so much. Oh But, like, literally everything she's in is better because she's in. Because, like, obviously, probably most people know her from The West Wing. And so she can do serious stuff as well. But, God, she's good. I'm like, why wasn't there more of her in this movie? I need an answer about that. And make it a half an hour longer. And she's that whole half an hour.
Well, it's front loaded too with her. So
Yes.
what did she just come in for like 1 or maybe 2 days of shooting and then went, peace, I'm out.
Bye. all the adult actors in this movie are fucking amazing.
Yeah.
Because then there's also her dad, who most people will know from The Princess Diaries as the beauty coach, right?
Yeah.
But his comedic timing is insane as well. Like just the like little facial expressions he makes. Like there's one where he's watching a commercial for like spray on like hair filler and shit, and he's like, interesting. And that makes me laugh. He says one fucking word and it makes me laugh every time. Oh man.
All his comments about being up to his elbows in placenta, because apparently he must be a gynecologist or I can't remember specifically for births.
An OBGYN?
OBGYN. Yes, thank you. Sorry. I have given birth. He must be an OBGYN because he is always making comments about that and about, do you know what she said to me? She said, I should have listened to my father. No, she didn't.
Well, she would have.
If she wasn't so doped up. Again, perfect line delivery.
Yes.
My personal favorite, and I say this so much, usually to myself, but like I'm laughing, is what's a Bogey Lowenstein? I love it so much. I also love it, like when he's like listing off, he's like, no drinking, no drugs, no ritual animal sacrifices of any kind. Oh God, I'm giving them ideas. Oh man, I know what those Dust and Rivers kids are doing, sleeping in each other's beds. Mama didn't raise no fool. So good.
It is really good. But then you also have Mr. Morgan, the English teacher.
So fucking amazing. He's what every teacher wishes they could do in their classroom. And you cannot tell me otherwise. There's not a single high school teacher who wouldn't want to yell at them, yeah, pipe down.
My personal favorite is, of course, someday you're going to get bitch slapped and I'm going to do nothing about it.
Yes. I also, it's like a rant to her at the very beginning where he's like, I'm sure the oppression of growing up in your upper middle class white suburban household was very difficult to overcome. Well, the next time you're storming the PUTA, ask him why they can't get a book written by a black man. It's like, yeah, man. Yeah.
The amount of times he kicks her out of the class too. He's like, you're pissing me off. Just go away.
Yes.
I'm like, she spends more time out of that class than in it.
It seems to be kind of the vibe of a lot of people in that class.
Yes. I also love that the last time she gets kicked out is because she said something positive and he's like, bullshit, what the fuck is this? Don't you... You fucking with me, right? Like, so then there's also the coach who's funny as shit because he's just trying to live his life in the chaos that is being surrounded by fucking teenagers and is not succeeding.
No.
He gets shot in the ass with a fucking arrow, which was also one of my favorites. He also gets decked in the head with a golf ball by Bogey Lowenstein.
Oh, that's right.
What's a Bogey Lowenstein?
I just love that. Grip it and rip it. I say that a lot too. Run, Bogey. And then he's just trying to manage detention.
He's just trying to do a good job.
And he's like, I can tell that kid has pot. Goes in for it. He does actually also steal someone's Cheetos, but I think that's forgivable under the circumstances.
Well,
So-
yeah, he needs something for his munchies.
Something for his munchies for later on.
Yeah. Because he needs a little puff pass because his ass is sore as shit.
He probably still has a concussion.
Right.
He's not doing well.
No.
And he has to coach this violent girls soccer team, which if you've watched Yellow Jackets, they're vicious. And In comes one of his players, pissing him off, annoying him with bullshit, and this bitch flashes him. So now he's got a lawsuit on his hands.
Right. Now he's got to write a report.
There's so much paperwork.
I paid attention to his face at the end of that scene when she was walking out for the first time, and he just has this look on his lips like, ooh, I didn't want to see that.
I also just like the idea of maybe that he's not trying to prey on the teenage girls around him, and mostly because I think he is the prey and they are the predators.
He's like, no.
No.
As is true in Yellow Jackets.
Yes. Yeah. Well.
But yeah, I just love that. You're smoking pot, aren't you? Yes, sir. I'm confiscating this.
And these two.
Like, again, these teachers are living the way that teachers wish they could.
Yes.
Oh, hell yeah.
Like, I wish I could just snag my students' pot and be like, I'm confiscating this. And your fucking Cheetos, bitch. It would be a good time. And those are like the only adults in the whole movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, we don't see anybody else's parents
No,
at all.
they don't exist.
No.
Bogies
specifically, I think they might be dead.
I mean, I'm sure they came home to a fucking heart attack because, goddamn, they really did Bogey dirty for. I guess that he kicked Michael out of the future MBA's group, but fuck, man, they did Bogey dirty.
He was just trying to have a classy evening with his friends. Granted, it looked boring as fuck.
It looked awful.
It looked awful, but they didn't need to do him that dirty.
That must be Nigel with the brie.
Nigel did come with the brie, though. He was there.
He did show up late. Classic Nigel.
I also really like that all of the rest of the school who went to this party knew that Bogey did not have party equipment and brought everything that was needed.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
I love when they're descending on it. They're like, I know it said free beer, but we're bringing our own. They're hauling a keg and a bucket to put ice in.
Yes.
Like, oh my God. They're like, oh, let's take this like mahogany like nightstand and put a fucking giant ass speaker on it.
They knew Bogey sound was not going to work for the party.
No, it was not the vibe.
On the
Did you
plus
hear
side-
that music he was playing at the beginning? Like shitty classical? No.
On the plus side, Bogey might be amped up in popularity after that.
If he's still alive when his parents get home.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, they're going to fucking kill him.
And I also don't know if that's true because he's frequently called a bogey Lowenbara and a bogey lineman, and like just like his name is often mispronounced. I don't think anybody still has any fucking clue who Bogey Lowenstein is. I also love the part where the cowboys come back in again and they're spitting Shrew into this like crystal vase.
Oh, God.
And he goes to grab it and he's just like, oh! I'm like, yeah, I don't think there's another reaction to that. That's never going to be the same again.
They really committed to these ridiculous clicks.
Tropes. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, because it wasn't like, oh, these are the popular kids and the nerds and the whatever. It was the cowboys and the coffee guys.
I also love that they reinforce his like nerd kingdom that he's got going on several times because like he's hitting the golf balls, you know, and then there's some fucking nerd down there catching them with
Yes.
a damn basket. And then at one point they're like sitting around uncomfortably before the party waiting for something to happen, apparently Nigel and the brie. And one of them like picks up some crystal vase or whatever and he goes like taps him on the head and he's like, don't touch anything. And I'm like, God, Bogey's a dictator. he's not a good leader at all. He kind of deserved it.
I will say the one group that I think was severely underrepresented was the marching band kids. Because what was that marching band?
They were amazing is what they were.
Amazing.
They can just learn a song at a drop of a hat. My God.
I'm guessing they already knew that song. And when he went to them, they were like, these are the songs we know. Pick one.
This is your karaoke list.
Yes, essentially.
I just, the marching band kids, like, it was like they just flitted into the background, like they were non-people.
It was a very small marching band.
It was a very small marching band.
I am confused about the size of this school because the
Yeah.
actual building fucking ginormous, and as far as I can tell, this is a 9th through 12th exclusive school.
Yes.
So like, how is it this small? Like, even if it's a private school, you'd think it'd be tidied up a little bit better.
Yeah, some of the like the field they were on when he was doing his big grand gesture moment, it looked old and unkempt.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
I was also very confused because, like, so you guys went to a small school,
Yes.
but I grew up in a larger city, and like there were like 2,000 kids in my school, and this takes place in Seattle. It's got to be bigger schools than here.
One would think, unless it's so fucking elite that there's only like 1,000 or so 9 through 12.
Or maybe they have so many schools in the town at that point
I
that
guess.
they split them up more. But
I don't know, but like all the popular kids knew all the popular kids.
This is true.
And that's something that I always question in any of these high school movies. Because in my experience, going to a small school, we all knew each other. But from talking to like you and Pap, who've gone to bigger schools, you're like, I don't know who anybody is.
yeah, I don't fucking know.
Oh,
I stayed around my peoples. And that's like not a clique thing. That's just the people I got along with were the people I was around.
Here's the other reason why I speculate that it might just be a very, very elite private school is there were no buses.
Yeah.
and nobody looked poor.
No one
Yeah.
was poor.
Oh, everyone seemed to be, higher class.
And I also think that's why the teachers got away with more shit,
Yeah,
because it wasn't a
probably.
public school.
Right. This theory's coming together, guys. Also, I got heavily called out by my Gen Z sister about the fact that we used to dress like we were going to a business luncheon for our fashion choices, and I was like, "You're not wrong." Is the problem?
Listen, shut up.
There were a lot of vests.
Yes.
There was a lot of jackets, but they had puffed sleeves instead of a normal tailored jacket.
There's a lot of blouses that literally you could wear with jeans and you're going to school. You could wear with khaki pants and you're going to a function.
Mm-hmm,
Yeah.
I mean, we also wore a lot of fucking t-shirts.
Yeah.
Oh God, yeah. I lived in my school t-shirts.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Cameron's outfits throughout feel very on par. The fucking flannel t-shirt jeans, yes. A lot of that as well. Not as much wearing dresses as Bianca does at all.
Which was weird as well, because I don't think I saw anybody else in a dress just at school.
Yeah.
Chastity, her best friend.
Oh, that bitch.
Yeah, but none of the background characters were dressed like them.
That's why she was so hot. She's out there wearing that cute little sundress.
Also, I would have gotten dress coded in that dress.
Oh,
well,
yeah.
Most of the things they were wearing, Kat's clothes, I would have too.
Yeah.
Oh, you can see midriff? Nay, nay.
Wow. Kat's never seen a bra she wanted to put on.
That's true too.
That's true.
And I guess that's more doable when you're a size A, but my God.
Oh, no, I would have given myself a black eye in gym.
The thing is we haven't really talked about Bianca too much. I don't know, she comes off as this very typical character who is vapid, and she's kind of seen as an object by these boys until the end when she punches Joey multiple times and knees him.
Yes. And we're all proud of her for that.
Yep, very proud of her.
Although I was having the thought last night while I was rewatching it, if she's just handing out fisticuffs, Patrick deserves one as well.
Yeah.
And she chases after her sister, just finish the job, finish him. But she doesn't do that. I just think he should have a matching black eye.
Yeah, Kat forgives Patrick way too quickly.
Mm-hmm.
And I get we're just at the end of the movie.
Yeah.
But you can't just forgive somebody for that.
No, he'd have gotten punched in the face from me.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
And then I maybe would have kissed him, because he's
yeah.
still hot.
Yeah. And he did get her a guitar, and that's nice.
He's still Heath Ledger. Yeah, she forgives him so easily. She does the teary poem situation.
Which is one of the bravest acts a high schooler has ever done in the history of ever.
Yeah,
Because
I would never have.
reading my poetry aloud in front of those fuckers.
No, thank you.
Yeah.
No. Reading my poetry aloud. Full stop. No. Crying in front of other people, reading my poem to the person it's about. All of that's a hell no on my best day.
Correct.
Like, I'm feeling good, and I wouldn't do that ever.
I do love that the teacher made fun of Joey for having a black eye.
I'm shooting a nose spray ad tomorrow. Yeah. He runs a cult now.
The actor?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
Oh, we should maybe confirm that before.
Variety article. Andrew Keegan addresses rumors that he runs a cult, admits he spent tens of thousands of dollars on a spiritual group. Please, that's a cult.
Yeah, that's a cult.
Yeah. Anyway, back to the subject at hand.
In this movie, he's a big old idiot.
He is. So in 1994, he was in Camp Nowhere, which obviously he's a bit younger there, but teen me loved it. And he was the cute little hero in that one. So,
Well, he was good at being a villain in this one.
yeah. He pulled it off for sure. I believed it. Too much.
I did have to laugh though when everybody, or specifically I think Cameron and Michael are making fun of him for his acting job. And I'm like, or modeling job. I was like, listen, that's actually kind of cool.
It was
Getting booked back then.
Back then
yes.
it wasn't cool to be a model.
I just think having a job at all.
Well, they're rich kids. So I'm going to bring us back to the beginning of the movie.
Okay.
Because it is a fabulous sequence in introducing us to everybody. Because yes, we have the Miss Perky, we have the Michael and the AV club and the explaining who everybody is, but then we get this lovely flash to Bianca and Chastity, and they have some of the most vapid dumb lines you've ever fucking heard, and they're the best. I know you can be overwhelmed and I know you can be underwhelmed, but can you ever just be whelmed? I think you can in Europe. What? And again, say that all the time now. and then later on, there's a whole thing where it's but there's a difference between like and love, because I like my Skechers, but I love my Prada backpack.
But I love my Skechers.
That's because you don't have a Prada backpack. Right? And so I think they do a really good job of, if you know the source material of the Taming of the Shrew, of demonstrating instantly that just because Kat is the quote unquote bad guy, right, and Bianca is the angel, does not make them actually those tropes true. And so I think they did a really good job of showing that immediately. We know where we're at.
It also helps that throughout the movie, Bianca becomes less vapid.
Yes.
She grows. You can see her growth.
Because in the beginning, I'm just like, oh, you dumb, honey.
Well, she emotionally grows too, because she goes from constantly attacking Kat to understanding her more, and then towards the end when Kat's sitting on the porch writing and she brings her some tea and she's like, are you sure you don't want to come with me and Cameron sailing? We'd have fun and everything. And then when he comes and checks in with them and then they leave and he goes, is she okay? And she goes, I think she's gonna be. And I'm like, oh, emotional growth, you did things, girly.
And importantly, that is now the third time we've talked about sailing, so we've hit that number 3 by that scene.
I didn't recognize that at all.
Yeah, when they're first meeting to do the French tutoring, he's talking to her about taking her out. He mentions sailing. And then when Cameron takes her home from Bogey Lowenstein's party, he's like, you never wanted to go sailing with me. And then they go sailing.
I've never made that connection.
Oh.
You learn something new every time.
Every time.
I also have to say, I think Chastity gets a bad rap in this movie. I think if she was the main character of the movie and it got to the end where she was like, I know you didn't think you were the only sophomore at the prom, we would be fucking cheering her on, because Bianca is a shitty fucking friend.
Yeah. She just pulls Chastity around with her everywhere.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Chastity was making a connection with some other random dude at that party and she gets yanked away. Maybe she would have gone to prom with that guy, but no, Bianca needed her attention.
I agree. She didn't need to be such a bitch about everything, but I also understand when you've been yanked around by your friend and your friend's being a bad friend.
Yeah. Well, I don't think she fucking knows anything about Chastity, for
True.
being so honest. And because Chastity's clearly very smart and is just playing into like Bianca's dumb bitch thing. Because later on she's like, I've been on this. I had a whole plan. I got myself asked to prom because I wanted to be at the fucking prom. You're just a dumb bitch. Like, I also love when she's leaving the party. She's like, you don't want to be here, but I do. And she's just like, yeah, too bad. And then Bianca's like, what? You're going with him? And she's like, girl, you passed. Like, what do you want me to do? Be like, oh no, I get to go out with the guy I want to go out with? Fuck off. I'm just saying, girl gets a bad rap. And that's my defense of Chastity.
Well, I will accept your petition that she's not a bad character.
Thank you.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes. But who is a bad character? Cameron. Most of the movie.
Cameron, I'm fully sitting here saying that Cameron is a nice guy. He sees a girl once and then wants her. So it's all this like she's just an object to him, and he like tries to do all of this shit to get her attention. And as soon as she is like actually trying to be with Joey a little bit, he's like, what? You don't want me? And she's like, what are you talking about?
You have showed no interest. You didn't ask me anything.
He doesn't ask her out upon their first meeting, however.
He does.
Yes.
But he does not even flinch at the idea of paying somebody else to ask Kat out.
Yeah.
Like, he doesn't see any problem with that.
Yeah.
I do, however, fucking love that like little segue scene they have of where they're trying to get random dudes that they think would be willing to go out with her. And for the longest time, I was like, I relate to that. I would be the one that they would be like, the guy's just screaming, or the one who's like, oh man, I've never been that ripped. Like, I was like, I'm that girl. Like, and now I realize that I'm the one who's like, anytime any guy approaches, I'm the guy who's screaming, who's like, no. Maybe if there was no one else left on Earth and there were no sheep. Are there sheep? What, my guy?
Wild, just putting that out there.
What? Yeah. I also love the guy who just doesn't say shit. He's just like, no.
Nay.
I think it's wild that you even asked, actually. But
I also think it's hilarious. So Patrick, everyone thinks he's a hardened criminal. There's so many rumors about him that are just like wild and outrageous. None of them are true. And he doesn't do shit to like discourage them. He's just like, fine, think what you want. You leave me alone then.
Well, Kat does the same thing.
Yeah.
With all of her awful rumors.
Yep. She's just like, whatever.
And that's what makes them so perfect for each other.
My favorite one is that he was in jail last year and he's like, I was in Milwaukee. I spent the entire year on my grandpa's couch caring for him while he was dying and eating SpaghettiOs. I'm like, my dude, that is so cute.
My favorite is, I heard he ate an entire duck. Everything but the beak and feet. Why?
And then somebody later on was like, I really like duck. And you're like, what?
Yeah.
Relate to Patrick.
Joey's like trying to connect to him. He's like, I had good duck last night. What?
So good.
Patrick is the only one that I'm like, I don't think you belong at this school. Like, if it is a private school, how are you getting here?
How'd you get here? Maybe his grandpa left him a bunch of money.
I don't know.
It's possible. Why was he the only one taking care of his grandpa if he's a high schooler?
I get the vibe that, because he says he lived in Australia with his mom for up until he was 10.
Mm-hmm.
So I get the vibe that he and his mom are not together anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Well, maybe it was dad got custody then. And
Yeah, it could be all sorts of things.
yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Maybe dad is really, really successful. And Patrick is just kind of like, fuck you to the old man.
I will say that's one thing I really like about this movie is they give you just enough of someone's backstory that you can kind of fill in the blanks with your own concept. Like, we know that Kat and Bianca's mom left.
Mm-hmm.
We don't know what the fuck happened since. We know that there's no communication happening for the last 3 years. But why did she leave? Did she actually get a divorce from their dad, or did she just literally up and dip? We don't know.
Yeah.
But
It seems fairly traumatic, so I feel like she just up and dipped.
yeah. And we know with Cameron that he is an army kid, so he's been hopping around from place to place. We know that Michael seems to be wildly unsupervised.
Yes. Severely.
Yeah.
And
so
somebody gave him that bike, and they should not have.
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. We don't really know anything about Mandela. She's just a sneaky little character that pops up to be like, I will facilitate this part of the plot.
Yes.
And I'm going to disappear. And we know nothing about Chastity's home life, or other than his modeling career, we don't really know anything about Joey.
Yeah.
I also really feel bad for the guy who's supposed to be his best friend, who has some of the dumbest skeezy lines at the beginning of the movie and then says literally nothing else the whole time. I was like, fuck, man. You got the raw end of that stick.
The other thing too is like these seniors are just going to bars apparently, because at one point Cameron and Michael find Patrick in what looks like maybe a biker bar, drinking a beer and playing pool.
Right?
Yeah.
And no consequences, I guess.
I mean, I know they go to like a bar type place to listen to a band, but there could also be nights where they do underagers and you just get
18.
18 plus or whatever.
Yeah. That one I can believe a little bit more.
Yeah, but playing pool in a bar?
Drinking a beer. A beer is in his hand.
Yes, it's true. I don't know what the rules are of this fucking town.
Well, and I could actually see that more in a small town than I could in like Seattle.
I would actually say it'd be easier probably to pull off in a big city than a small town.
Oh.
Yeah.
Depending on the small town.
Yeah.
That's just true. You could if you knew the right people there, and you would be protected. But everybody would fucking know that little Johnny was going to the bar.
It's true. Everybody would know, given the small town that I'm around a lot because my parents have a house there. Like, everybody knows who I fucking am, and I'm not even there much. It's weird.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody else's lives is like their TV. It's like the free entertainment.
It's true.
I also find it really interesting what these rules are around when Kat and Bianca can go out and when they can't, because Bianca couldn't go to the Bogey Lowenstein party unless Kat did.
Mm-hmm.
But it was a party, not dating. Whereas Kat could just randomly go to see this band by herself. So what are the rules?
I think honestly, it's a little bit of older sister, little sister situation where he wanted her at that party because he doesn't necessarily trust Bianca's judgment, but he does Kat's, which is not fair to either of them.
No.
But that is the way things do sometimes, unfortunately.
I think also, based on everything else he does, he just like makes shit up at the drop of a hat. And it felt like that in that moment. He's like, Kat's not going, you're not going.
Yeah.
You know, like, aha, I caught you. You can't do it.
It's one of my favorite moments where he's like, you're going to wear the belly just once around the living room. No,
Daddy,
Dad,
no.
no, please.
I also love that at that party, that's when Bianca finally like starts having things click into place. She's like, oh, this thing that I've dreamt of and wanted this whole time actually fucking sucks.
Yep.
And
this guy I've been liking is kind of an asshole.
Right. And maybe a little bit, I'll never admit it to him on my deathbed, my dad was maybe right. Kat was maybe right.
Well, I do like it though when Kat goes and admits to Bianca that she and Joey had dated in 9th grade and they did the deed, and then Joey was like pressuring her, but she didn't want to and they broke up. That Bianca was just like, why didn't you tell me? Instead of her being like, oh my gosh, you went through this and I feel bad and everything's forgiven. It's more like, so you let me hang out with this guy after everything you knew and you didn't tell me?
Right? She is justified in being upset. Although there is a moment at that party where Kat tries to tell her, but obviously that's not the right time.
It's too late.
It's too late.
Yeah.
He's been sniffing around her for months. Why didn't you say something then?
Well, and the first time you're watching that, you don't fully know what the hatred is between Joey and Kat, right?
Yeah.
And so when you have that moment of epiphany, you kind of are like, ew, Joey's worse than I thought he was. Because you're going to tell me you're going to try and go after your ex's sister?
I will say, I do appreciate the moment at the party that she does try to kiss him. And he's like, you're drunk.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely not. Which, for all our younger listeners, was a novel thing in the 90s and early 2000s.
Yep.
That would have not been a thing that most people thought of. And I was very proud of that moment. I'm like, oh.
Although it is undercut by him literally feeding a drunk girl to another guy.
Yeah.
So, pros and cons. Yikes.
Well, it was less like a planned thing and more just like, she's attacking me. Go that way.
Yeah.
Get off of me. But then, of course, Kat, because it's a teenage moment, you're not thinking correctly. Your brain isn't going, hey, look at him actually being nice.
Hey, he respects consent.
Right. Is super offended and upset that he didn't want to kiss her.
Well, especially, even the not as good guys will probably not go, hey, you just vomited all over my shoes. Let's make out. It's a little bit of a turn off.
Well, that's the first thing I thought when she leans over to kiss him. I was like, oh, girl, you probably still have vomit breath.
Right. One thing that I saw floating around TikTok quite a bit a few months ago was people using the line, your eyes have a little bit of green in them. And I was like, you do know she throws up seconds later. Like, it's not the romantic moment that you think it is.
They're using it as like a cute romantic thing.
Oh,
yes.
no.
Oh, I thought they were doing it in I thought you were trying to describe it the way it is in the movie where it's like a
No.
drunken dumb thing.
No. The Gen Z's got it wrong. And I was like, you need to go back and watch the source material because that is not gonna, that's not a cute
what you
look.
think it is.
No. Mm-mm.
You know what is cute, though? Their date after she gets him out of detention.
After she flashes the coach and gets him out of detention.
Yeah. Later on, he's like, well, how could I not fall in love with a girl who's willing to flash me to get me out of detention? And I'm like, really? Because that's wild. I don't think I've cared about anyone enough to flash them to get out of detention.
Well,
I'd be like, you're going to have to pay for your crimes. This is how it is. This is not like you went to prison, my guy. Like it's like 2 hours of after school.
At that point, though, she was in so deep trying to distract the coach that if he had caught Patrick, she probably also would have been in trouble. So it's a little self-preservation at that point.
little.
That's true.
Yeah.
It's true. However, how do you face your coach the next practice?
I wouldn't be able to. I would want the earth to swallow me.
I am fully convinced that these girls are fucking running that coach ragged. They do not have the respect for this man. They do not respect him.
They are running his life into the ground,
Yes.
and he doesn't know how to escape at this point.
It's a bunch of feral teenagers on his
Yes.
soccer team.
Yes, just like
But
Yellow Jackets.
Apparently, I need to watch Yellow Jackets.
Yes, you do.
But I love that line where he's like, well, how do I not fall in love with a girl who's willing to flash a coach to get me out of detention? Because she didn't think he saw what she did.
He didn't. He found out later.
No, I think he saw it as he was going out the window.
Well, he said he didn't see it.
Oh.
Yeah.
He specifically says he did not.
And he asks her, how did she end up getting him out? And she has to say, well, I just used my wits or something like that. So, yeah.
But then they go on a cute date. They go paddle boating
Mm-hmm.
and they play some weird version of paintball where you don't have a gun. You just throw water balloons of paint at each other.
Honestly, seems safer.
Yeah.
It really does.
Probably
Honestly,
doesn't
it looked
hurt
fun.
nearly as much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Messier.
But
Yeah. But that's when you get to see Heath Ledger with his hair pulled back. And little teenager me was like,
Oh.
new version.
There's different flavors. Oh my
Yes.
God.
Oh my God. There's so many likes of being unlocked in this movie.
Well, and then he goes in for his kiss. He throws off his goggles and he's rubs some paint off of her face and is like, I'm gonna hit you with my best shot. And it's the best kiss of the movie.
I don't know. The end kiss is pretty hot though, too.
It is until he weirdly lifts her up. If you keep watching,
No.
as they pan out and he lifts her up, but she stays up there for too long. So it's like, this is weird.
I guess I didn't mind that part. I was like, that's a realistic thing people do. So I went with it. But they were macking out hard at that end scene. There was tongue.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They were getting after it.
Yeah.
Well,
I guess they're adults now. You know, she's graduating.
If you had the opportunity to kiss Heath Ledger, would
If
you
I
not
had the
mac on
opportunity
him?
to Heath Ledger, I would Heath Ledger.
Julia Stiles gets to kiss quite a few
Hot
pretty
dudes.
boys.
Yeah.
And pretty men's.
Yeah. Yeah, she's had a good run.
Mm-hmm.
There's an outtake when they're supposed to kiss in the car and then they don't, right?
Mm-hmm.
Where he like goes in for it and she's like, you, and I'm like, girl, you liked it. Who would have liked it? Like, I think he's just like teasing and she's like, ah, you know, but I'm like, we all wanted to be you.
That bitch.
Yeah,
right. No, it's funny too because like anytime you see any of the cast members like talk about that time, they always have such positive things to say about working on the movie, and especially about working with Heath.
There was an outtake that showed like after the credits rolled for a while, and it was like they come running around the corner, and it's the principal, and then a teenager quotation marks standing there in his boxers, and she
that's the director.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Standing there in his boxers. Oh, wow. And they all laugh hysterically.
Yes.
I think though that that's like all of the cast really having great memories of this is a good sign of like when a movie is really good and complex because like everybody is working together and not just like we're extras, we stand over here and get yelled at.
The extras were having fun.
Yeah.
The shit they were doing in the background. You're just like, what are you?
There's a girl in one of the party scenes that has like purple hair and an orange shirt, and she is dancing her ass off to the non-music.
Oh yeah.
All I can see is her in some of the scenes. I'm like, you're like, I'm here for a good time.
I am.
I
Living
don't even
my
care.
life.
Yeah, like I have a whole song in my head. I don't know what you are dancing to, but
It is awkward when they're showing the like cuts and stuff afterwards that like all the party scenes and it's quiet. It's just people talking and stuff. And I'm like, oh, I don't know that I could do that.
It's acting.
yeah. One thing I have always wanted to do from this movie is there's about a dozen or so books shown and referenced in this movie, and I'm like, I just need to use this as a TBR list someday and just like read all of them. She's like got the Bell Jar, the Feminine Mystique. I'm trying to think of what some of the other ones referenced are, but they're not popping into my mind. But like just being like, anything Kat read, I read now.
Just do a 10 things I hate about you TBR.
Yes, I have thought about that. Also, this like album or a soundtrack, I should say. The
soundtrack slaps.
This soundtrack, there are so many songs that are in this movie that I still listen to on a regular basis today. One of my favorites is The Weakness in Me. I play that so often. And I think I might be one of 20 people who do.
So I watched this again at work today, and I had my headphone in, so I'm still walking around the office at times. Like I went to go scan something, and I'm like bopping across the office, and I'm really glad my coworkers are used to my nonsense at this point.
Did you say what song?
No, it was just all of them. I kept like through the entire movie.
I was like, I feel like I missed part of the conversation somehow. Like somehow I blacked out because I was like, I don't remember you saying any songs.
No, not a specific song by any means.
Okay. So all of this whole supposition to pay Patrick Verona to take her on a date, ultimately leading to the prom,
as does in most teenage movies.
Yes. And so the big deal is that Joey wants to take Bianca to the prom, and Cameron wants to take Bianca to the prom, and Michael just wants to take someone to the prom. And Patrick's like, I could take her leave prom, but now I guess I'm getting paid to go, so I might as well go. But I totally get Kat's vehemence against the prom, but this is one thing she's kind of bitchy about, where she's like actively tearing down this poor bitch's poster over and over again.
Right?
Well, she's also being kind of bitchy to Mandela too, who's like, "Oh, maybe I just want to go to the prom." She's like, "No, we're making a statement."
Ooh, something new and fun for us. It's like, yeah, I get that.
Mandela just wants to wear a pretty dress.
Yeah, sometimes you just want to wear a pretty dress. Like, you know, I didn't end up ever getting a poofy dress for any of my formals, but I always wanted one. And my mom was like, "Why? Like, that's not even like, what? It's not your personality." I was like, "I want to be a pretty princess." Fuck.
I also wanted a poofy dress and never got one.
I did have a poofy dress, and I loved that.
Well, so getting back to this movie and their prom, one thing I would not have known if it weren't for movies was that there are schools out there that are just like hiring bands to play their fucking prom.
Oh yeah, we never got that.
I'm
No.
like, we got a fucking DJ that might as well have been a fucking iPod.
Well, Pap and I said the same thing when we were watching. We were like, "Who the fuck gets to have a band with a special guest?"
Right?
Yeah.
The movie She's All That, when they like hire in this like specific like well-known band and they like wanted to get Brandy. I'm like, you want to get Brandy for high school? What? That doesn't make no sense to me. Y'all
No.
are rich on a level I can't understand.
Yeah, we are not in the same tax bracket.
No,
not even close.
Or no, that's drive me crazy. Not She's All That. She's All That is one where they all have a choreographed dance ready to go in their back fucking pocket. Teen movies during this time were the wildest.
They were.
But anyway, so they're at the prom. And like apparently it is just like a glorified dance. Like they don't do a grand march, which is weird to me.
We didn't either.
You don't
You
just show
didn't?
off your date
No.
and walk through 3 arches.
We walk through the arches when you walk in, but there's not like any formalcy to it.
Oh, there's a whole spectatorship to ours.
It was
Oh,
there were people would come and watch that didn't even have like friends, family, kids in the fucking prom. They would just come watch these kids walk with their fancy dresses and tuxes.
Yeah.
Yeah. And there'd be a big announcement and everybody would cheer for you. They'd be like, "Yay! You wear a pretty dress." It was wild. Small towns. Small town shit. Anyway, so they just show up and start dancing, which feels so like...
Not even the pictures?
Yeah. It's so informal.
That's weird.
We had spots that you could take pictures, but again, it wasn't like a...
Oh no, it was you had time slots
Yeah.
for your pictures.
And there was like a pre-dinner,
Yep.
and there was an after prom that was like people from the community would like gift things like an electric blanket,
Yeah.
and sweatshirts and shit.
And we had kind of that, but it was actually, we had a lock-in the last week of school where all the seniors stayed overnight in the school.
If you went to the after prom, it was typically a lock-in. But if you were cool, like my senior class, a bunch of us just didn't do that.
So getting back to why I think Michael would have won me over is one, he approaches Mandela with this. He says, "My friend likes your friend," and like helps set up this romantic gesture that Patrick has for Kat. That like already tells me like you are going to go the extra mile. You're going the extra mile for your friend to romance my friend.
Mm-hmm.
What are you going to do for me? And then he's like, "Hey, I noticed you like Shakespeare, so let me nerd out with you." Winning. And then he's like, "I know what's going to work with this girl. It's not going to be the direct approach of me stumbling and fumbling, which I've been trying and it sucks. But to get her a dress that's her size, that's like quirky and cute and has like a little like Elizabethan vibe."
Mm-hmm.
And tell her to meet me at the prom wearing a like William Shakespeare outfit. That would work. That would win for me. Like I'd be like, yeah.
Yeah. They looked adorable. They were so
So
cute together.
cute.
I do love the little moments that only happen like once or twice where the two of them are together conspiring or just reacting to their friends like fumbling through shit. I'm like, ugh, that sounds like a good couple. They're bonding already.
The little puppet masters being like,
Yes.
Yeah. I especially love his like dancing over to Cameron after like
Yes.
seeing things go down, and he's like, "The shit hath hitteth the fan Like, I appreciate a commitment to the bit, even under stress.
Oh no.
I will say the one thing in that sequence that doesn't make sense to me is that Mandela does not chase after Kat. And I'm like,
Yeah.
what? Mandela seems pretty ride or die with what Kat wants.
Yeah, it was surprising to me that she didn't go after her.
Mm-hmm.
Well, they wanted the big moment where Bianca went after her.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Well, where she finally had like her sister moment.
Yeah.
Well, and it should have been both of them going
Mhm.
after her. And maybe Bianca being like, let me handle this.
Mm-hmm.
But then she doesn't. She just stands at the top of the stairs with Patrick. And I'm like, girl, you're halfway there. You're
Just
halfway to doing the right thing. Go
And she's
all the
like,
way.
But prom.
But prom.
I did not like her dress.
I think there's great potential in her dress, except for the top is one of the most ill-fitting things I've ever seen.
Exactly. That's the
Yeah.
problem. Her top is like, it's a baggy t-shirt.
Yes. Made out of satin.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, ugh. Okay, we could have done better with that. Like, I could get down with the whole like crop top, poof bottom, like that. Okay.
Yeah, the whole tutu aspect of it was not what bothered me.
No, I thought that part was cool.
I'm still confused as to where Kat got her dress. Why she just have a prom dress?
Yeah, and it's a gorgeous one.
I didn't like it, but it fit the time period.
I think she probably had time to go out and buy one at like off the rack.
Must be fucking nice.
I mean, she's a skinny mini. They
Yeah.
can
She's a
just
skinny
do
mini.
that shit.
The color was good on her.
The red rose didn't quite go with it. That's in her hair, but you know,
That's why it's in her
Patrick
hair.
doesn't know shit.
At least he brought her something.
That's true.
Yep.
I'll give you that.
He was trying to be good. Who knocked up your sister? Sorry. That gets me every time.
Including the times that aren't that time. Yeah. No, it seems too like after the prom, it's like the movie's done.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
You have a couple little like wrapper up moments, and then you get to the poem and you're like, boom, that's end of movie. Good job. All right, everybody go home.
She does forgive him way too easily. I will say, like, he's kissing her and she is like, you know, you can't just do this every time you mess up. And he's like, yeah, kiss.
Mm. Well, I mean, the one thing I will say that I think justifies her forgiving him quicker is I think she does understand that, well, yes, the beginning process was that he was paid to take her out. There was more to it, especially after they started getting to know each other.
Yeah.
And that was not, should he have turned down the money? Yes. But he wasn't lying to her about his feelings.
Yeah, he didn't really lie to her about anything. He was always him.
Mm-hmm.
He wasn't pretending to be somebody else.
I mean, I still would punch him in the face.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
But
And probably the dick.
yeah.
No, you got to use that later.
Sorry, that caught up with me a little late, and I don't know why.
I was like, come on, guys. This has to land between one of you.
I will say we kind of skipped over their early stages, and that's my favorite part of those two actually, is the like bickering between them. The way he just keeps like trying, and she's like, wow, that's so crazy that you would do that because I couldn't want you farther away from me. And
Yep.
the one I still use to this day is, am I that transparent? I want you. I need you. Oh, baby. Oh, baby.
It's my favorite line in the entire movie.
We haven't asked this question in a long time, but do you think Kat and Patrick, and I suppose as well Cameron and Bianca, last? And it's a teenage movie, so I'm not going to say like, did they get married and live happily ever after? But like,
Did they last a while?
Yeah, did they go to college together? Cameron is a senior, so he's a couple years older than Bianca.
Cameron and Bianca, no, I don't believe so. But
No.
I believe it sets her up for better decision-making skills later on.
Mm-hmm.
I could see maybe Kat and Patrick lasting a while.
I don't know how that would be sustained though with her going all the way to Sarah Lawrence.
Correct.
That's the big thing. Is like, is he really going to follow her all the way to the East Coast? I don't know.
He doesn't really strike me as somebody who had plans already, so
No.
maybe.
So maybe he could.
Maybe. But even if he does follow her, if he's not going there to go to school, I can't imagine Kat being real enthused about that.
Yeah, and it's just like logistically harder to, when you're in the throes of college, like 18, 19, to
Mhm.
date somebody who is not
Mm-hmm.
I could see them maybe trying long distance, but it kind of going downhill.
Mhm.
Because she is a very determined person in what she wants for her life going forward. And I don't see him being that.
I do think it's interesting, though, for a movie that's primarily focused on seniors, that none of them are, other than Joey, are really talking about what they want to do in the future. Like,
Yeah.
Kat randomly throws out, I should maybe start a band, and that's about it.
Well, and theoretically, this movie takes, we don't know how long it like how many months or whatever it is, but they're ending at prom, so there's not a lot of time left.
Right?
Yeah.
They're graduating very, very soon.
Yeah, generally prom is what, maybe a month away from graduation?
Around here, anyway.
Yeah. So I do think that that's interesting and kind of...
They would have already had to have sent out college applications because she's already been
been accepted
to
and,
Sarah Lawrence.
Yeah. So where are the rest of them going? Who's to say?
Who's to say?
We know that Michael was a future MBA.
Yeah.
So that's it.
So yeah.
On that note, we're going to rip it on up to ratings time.
What's your spice rating?
There isn't any.
There is not any. It's a 0.
As there should be.
Yeah.
0, 0, 0.
0. It's a teenage movie.
Yeah.
No.
There's more kissing, or at least more in-depth kissing than some teenage movies, but it's still a 0.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
What about your romance rating?
That one's hard for me because I'm like, but there's so much lying.
I feel like, to me, it's like a 2.5. And I think that's also appropriate because I don't want a lot of romance in my teen movie.
No.
Yeah, I agree with you.
I
on
like
that.
more calm than the rom. You
Yeah.
know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? So I'm going to also echo a 2.5.
Me too, 2.5.
That means gavel, gavel!
Yeah.
We didn't do it for the spice rating, though, either.
Oh, well, you know what that means.
Gavel, gavel! What's your overall rating?
I mean, this is a lifetime favorite for me. I've been watching this since it came out, which apparently is 25 fucking years.
Jesus.
And I don't like that.
Yeah, that hurts me a little.
But, I would be a fucking liar if I got up here on this mic and didn't say it's a 5 for me.
It is also a 5 for me. Even though I haven't watched it in a long time, watching it for today was such a delight. I was like, oh man, this movie's so good.
It's not quite a 5 for me. I'm going 4.5.
Oh.
I do greatly love it, but I don't have quite the nostalgia aspect I think that you guys did.
Sure.
I also really appreciate that it aged very well.
It
Yeah.
does.
Like, it
There
did
were
not.
a few moments where you're like, ooh, but not a ton.
Yeah, no, it didn't age like milk like some of them.
Well, one of the things that I've been talking with my sister about is like a whole bunch of these movies that were made in the early 2000s and late 90s. They were so fucking good, but like you could not get those movies made today.
No.
Oh, no.
Not a fucking chance. There is, an R word dropped early on in the movie,
Mhm.
and there are some overtly sexist things that are said for sure.
Mhm.
But you're meant to go, that's a fucking asshole who did those things.
Yeah.
So, it definitely holds up in that respect for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of movies, like we just recently watched Sorority Boys, and I was like, this movie, ooh, oh no, that movie cannot really resurface ever. It's bad, but also funny as shit.
I've never watched it, but
Well, like I said, I did that with Clueless not too long ago, and I think I made it 10 minutes in before I was like, "Ugh, no, 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 no. Bad. Go away."
Stop doing these things.
that brings us to your recommendations.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to go with a very on the nose recommendation, but also a very good recommendation, which is She's the Man, starring young Channing Tatum and young Amanda Bynes, and also soccer somehow.
Yeah.
And
I love She's the Man.
and it's another Shakespeare retelling for As You Like It. And you have your undercover girl who just really wants to play soccer, and so she goes to another school and pretends to be a boy, and it is fucking hilarious.
It is fucking. She's specifically pretending to be her brother.
Yes.
Isn't there also a flashing scene in that movie too?
There
Yes.
is.
Yeah.
There are multiple
Flashes
flashing scenes.
The entirety of the stadium of people.
Her tuts.
Her tuts.
But her brother also shows his Wallace and Doodleberries.
That's right.
Yep.
I'm going to recommend Mean Girls
Great
Yeah.
recommendation.
because of all of the like, oh, we're going to get together and plot how to get these two to break up so that you can be with him, but also undermine the plastics. It's very, and it's just also kind of a classic 2000s teen movie.
Mine goes with Vibes. I don't know how well it's aged. Honestly, it's been a long time since I've seen it, but never been kissed.
Well, there is the whole fact that, Josie is not a teenager,
Correct.
but her teacher thinks she is.
Yep.
That whole aspect, that did not age well.
You mean the core to the movie?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So not well.
Not
Danny.
well. Yeah.
But, if you just like put your blinders on and pretend you're living in the 2000s, it's all good.
That's how I feel about She's All That.
Yeah.
Mhm.
That was going to be my other one, but I'm like, that one didn't age well
No.
either, I don't
Good.
think.
Did
No.
not age good. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. There's a lot of movies like that where you're like, okay, but I loved them as a kid, but ooh. Reflection, that mirror is warped. But here we are.
Mm-hmm. All right. Well, folks, that brings us to the end of the episode. If you like this episode, you can find us out there on the socials at Wrong Dust Jackets, or you can go to our website, wrongdustjackets.com. You'll find a list of episodes we've done, episodes that are coming up, as well as our blog post. And we would like it, love it. Just be so happy if you gave us 5 stars, thumbs up, like, rate, review, comment, whatever is available to you on your podcast listening app, because that would help us out. That's all I got. Bye, y'all.
Bye-bye. Bye.